It's time for Success in Real Estate with Frankie Griffin, owner and broker in charge of the Palmetto Success Team, certified residential specialist, accredited buyer representative, military relocation professional, real estate appraiser, and author of Success in Real Estate. If you are interested in buying or selling a home, investing in real estate, or having your home appraised, you will enjoy Success in Real Estate. Now, here's Frankie Griffin.
Buying and selling a home should be a very fun, fantastic event in our lives. And this is what we're going to be dealing with and talking about today to make sure it is, in fact, an enjoyable event when buying or selling your home. But I've got a very, very special guest in studio with me, a client of mine in the Palmetto Success Team. Miss Julie Brickley is in studio. How you doing, Miss Julie?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You always look beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. And I see Jerry nodding his head in agreement. But, as much as I love seeing you, I kind of miss Bob not being here today. Bob is Julie's husband, Command Sergeant Major of the National Guard.
That's correct.
Bob Brickley. And Sergeant Major, if you're listening, I want to say hello. Your beautiful wife is with us today, and we thank you for allowing her to be here. But you and Bob, you contacted me. How long was it ago? Well, a year and a half ago when you sold your house?
It's been a year, actually, last month. Yep.
And I'm just curious, but what are some of the things that you as a home seller at that time are looking for in an agent, or what do you expect an agent to provide? Because I assume there was some reason you contacted us, and thank you so much for that.
Well, it's hard to answer that just in 2 or 3 seconds or less.
We'll give you 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Yeah, I mean, I was looking for a lot, and I guess if we had to sum it up real quick, I wanted a real estate agent that could get in my shoes, because selling your house is so emotional, and homeowners think that they know what that their house should sell for, and so I really needed somebody to help me troubleshoot through that, and I wanted to get the most for my money, and I wanted to have somebody that knew how to walk me through that process.
Well, and I got to tell you, it was an enjoyable process, beautiful home that you actually had built. And, one of the first things, as you recall, I thought that we needed to do, that I do with all my clients, we want to get it appraised. We want to make sure we know the values so we can get it priced right. But then, I also suggested, as you very much agreed, that we need a professional photographer to come in, which is when you met Jerry. And obviously, Jerry Bilton here in studio with us. He videos the show every day. And he also shoots every house that I put on the market. He shoots. In fact, we were talking before the break, but what did you think personally about the photographer, or do you think it made any difference in the sale?
Oh, it was huge. I cannot tell you how great the photos that Jerry took of my home and the time that he took. He was so detailed. I'm thinking he's, going to be here 20, 30 minutes less. So, no, he was so meticulous. No, it was wonderful.
He's almost anal about it.
Yeah.
He does a great job. And one of the things I heard you saying before we actually came on the show is his ability, as he's taken the photos and as he puts them all together, it actually tells a story. And explain to me what you meant by that.
Well, right. And when you're looking to buy a home, homeowners are on the internet. And you just get a short window with those photographs. So they really have to present well and tell a story. And that's what you want. You want to have that homeowner picture themselves in that home. And, again, it's just the internet is so crucial. So with what the expertise that Jerry brought to me was wonderful.
And he sits, when he takes these pictures, you're not just looking at a bunch of pictures. It's, you see the house. He takes a picture of the door, than the foyer, and the whole way as you click and look at each picture, it's as if you're getting a tour of the home and not just a bunch of pictures of the house.
You feel like you're actually moving through the home. It's really cool. It's not like photos. I mean, I can't describe it any other way, but it just looks just like you're walking through the house. The way he puts it all together.
Yeah, he does a fabulous job, and encourage anybody that if you've got your house on the market and a professional such as Jerry Bilton has not been over to take the photos, and you're wondering why perhaps not many or maybe no one is looking at the home, it may be because they did look at your home online, didn't see anything they liked, and just went to the next property. Check out Jerry at Eagle Photography. What's the website?
Imagesbyeagle.com.
www.imagesbyeagle.com. See, that's what the nice part of having him here in studio. I don't have to remember all this stuff. But he does do such an awesome job. But, the house didn't stay on the market that long before it went under contract. Very pleasant, nice buyers. And the whole transaction, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but did you feel like it went pretty smooth, or were there a lot of...
Yes, I mean, my house was shown so many times it wasn't even funny, and I contribute, everything to the total package, that the whole team offered to me, and the just everything that you presented to us, how to get it sold quickly. But the biggest thing is you were always available.
Awesome.
With a lot of times I've had some experiences where real estate agents don't answer their phone, whether you're trying to buy or sell, and I wanted to make sure that again, when people want to buy, it's a short window, and you've got to be available.
And that's and you're not the first I've heard say that about a lot of real estate agents do not return phone calls, certainly not timely, and sometimes they don't return the call at all. And that now it just blows me away. I don't understand that. But you can always return someone else's call for whatever the requirement is. If you can't do something, you need to call them and tell them, well, you know what, that's not something I can do. But but working with you and getting your home sold was a huge pleasure. And then obviously it was on to the home buying. And I'm going to go ahead and continue this conversation with Julie, because, and before we leave the selling process, you mentioned a couple things during the break that I thought was very interesting. And, one is, you made the point that, your home it's your personal residence. It's where you live. And you did have a requirement that I think we pretty much, I hope, honored, but you were very specific on who should or should not be coming into your home in terms of what their qualifications were. And why is that? Can you talk a little bit about why that's such a big issue?
Well, basically, I wanted to make sure that if you were coming in to view my home, that you were serious. You were a serious potential home buyer, and not just kicking the tires. That you really were interested in my price range, and wanted to live in that neighborhood. Just a serious buyer. So that was important. And I purposely didn't want a real estate sign out front. I just wanted my whole sale to be somewhat private. It's kind of personal.
Sure.
And people immediately start saying, why are you selling your house? Why?
Yeah. Well, and I don't think you're alone. I think that's something that a lot of people would desire. They want to, even though I can't think of too many other things you can do that would be more inconvenient than selling your home, especially when you live there. It's a huge inconvenience. But, a lot of it's got to do with, if you are the buyer and or the buyer's agent, we have to be respectful when we're in another person's home.
Right, and I always like when real estate agents come in and they leave their card, and see, a lot of them wouldn't leave their card. And I think I even called you on that. I'm like, why are they not leaving their cards? Just let me know that you did come, because they'll set the appointment and then I don't have a clue. But a lot of times, if the agent would just write a note, just a little comment on the back of the card, just a personal touch,
Sure. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, beautiful home, thank you, but a lot of them just wouldn't even leave their cards.
And I don't know why that is, because you're right. A few years ago even, it was just part of the process. You took plenty of cards. You always have cards on you, and you left a card wherever you went. And you're right. You don't see that nearly as much. And one of the reason, I'm not saying this is a good reason, but one reason for that may be because of the technology we have with the MLS and the lot boxes. We can actually, if an agent opens that lot box, I get an email, so I'll know exactly who the agent is showing the house and when they're open. In fact, I'll probably get the email before they can even get the key in the front door. So I guess that might be one reason why some agents, they say, well, they already know when I open the lot box who's here, so what's the point in leaving a card? But I agree, I might know, but sometimes you may not know.
Right, and when you're trying to get out of the house so that they can come in and look, you want to make sure that, did you stay away long enough? Have they already come and gone? You just don't know.
Sure.
And then I've got to call you to see, well, did they come? And that is great, that technology, though. That is awesome that you get that.
It is. Well, I want to move towards because once we sold the house and things did go smooth, and I can't even remember who the other agent was involved at the time, but they had obviously qualified buyers, and the process went very smooth. So now we're on our search for a home, and I got to just tell you, and this is the way it should be all the time, but this was showing homes with both you and Bob, your husband. It was one of the more enjoyable times I've ever had or experienced in dealing with clients. And obviously, showing you a home is wonderful, but Bob is just, to me, he's just hilarious.
Yes.
I had a fantastic time. Look forward to showing homes. So I thought it was a fun process. Even though some of the houses, you're going to have that. You walk in some of the houses with expectations that all of a sudden are not met once we walk in. But what was your thought process about the whole process, I guess?
Well, buying the home was a lot harder than selling the home for me, because I was very picky and I really wanted to have, so many different variables. Obviously, I was trying to find something in our price range, but I really wanted to buy a home that I knew was going to still maintain the property values and only go up. So the community, everything, not just the house I was buying. I was looking. It was really a hard job for you, because I was looking at every home in that neighborhood. Are they maintaining their lawn? Are they abiding by the covenants? And so it made it hard. And then security was a big deal.
Well, and as I recall, when we walked in the house you eventually bought, I can't speak for you, but it was just a feeling I guess I got as we were walking down the driveway. I felt it, that this was going to be it.
Well, really, it started with the internet, though, with the photos and seeing the house there, and that's where it started for me, and it really looked too good to be true. And then, yes, you're right, when we went and physically pulled up, but what sold it for me was going out on the back deck, just the view in the back deck.
Well, and as I recalled, and I don't know that I've ever seen this before, and I'm sure it's not uncommon, it's just something I haven't seen, but your back deck was hardwood floors.
Right.
It wasn't decking, it was hardwood floors. Now it was covered.
Right.
But it was a deck.
Right, and so it brought a little the inside outside. So it was just really great to have that space to feel like you were still inside, but you were out.
What was your concern initially putting your house on the market? Because I want you to tell me what you just said without me repeating it.
Well, basically, I wanted to make sure that that my house was priced correctly, and I knew. I've seen it happen where homeowners would list their house and they list it, hoping way higher than what they knew they possibly could get, but that hurts you. And pricing it right was so critical for me. So I knew I had overbuilt in the neighborhood, and basically I used the term, I was going to have to get real. But I wanted my real estate agent to prove it to me.
Sure.
I didn't want him to bring me some comps and say, well, this or that. I wanted to prove it. And so with what you presented, let's get an appraisal. We don't have to have a full-blown appraisal.
Sure. And the appraisal serves as a negotiating tool that you could use if a buyer's agent came back trying to say your house is not worth what you're asking.
Right.
And they throw out their comps. Well, if you have the appraisal, so they can't. It's going to be a lot tougher to argue that point. But then to go back to on the buy-in side, you had contacted Erica West, and she's always been very good at responding and getting in touch. And what do you think about that?
I was going to tell you a little story about Erica when I first started with her, and really over the weekend, and I got a text message. It was on a Saturday or a Sunday, and it said, "Let me know, is there anything else I can help you with?" And I'm like, "Who is this? Who is this person?" I didn't have her in my phone, so I text back. I said, "Who is this?" And she said, "It's Erica West." And she said, "I'm helping you with your mortgage." I was like blown away that she texted me over the weekend. So I started, sending her my questions.
Just making sure that things are on track and you feel good.
Yep.
And that's what we like to do with our team. And I do consider Erica West as our team, just as much as I consider Andy On with On and McKay Law Firm a team member of ours, because they do such a fantastic job with all our clients. And speaking of the devil, guess who's on the phone line with us now, Julie?
It's Mr. On, the SWAT team. Do you remember, Andy?
Thank you so much for referring to me as the devil. Okay.
No, you're the SWAT team.
What's going on,
Andy? How you doing? Good. How you doing?
Oh, such a fine day today. I got Julie Brickley sitting beside me. What could be better?
That exactly. How are you, Julie?
I'm good. I was just thinking about when you handled my loan closing. You remember it was during the government shutdown, and you moved heaven and earth to get me closed that day.
That's true.
You know what? No person is more deserving than you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you using our firm. Thank you so much, my dear.
Thank you.
Frankie, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I am just waiting to hear the good stuff you've got today.
Well, there's something I want to talk about that I think is becoming more and more of a problem. I've had at least 3 issues relating to this, and it's a sensitive subject, and it's one that is near and dear to your heart, I think, because it deals with real estate commissions. And I've had at least 3 situations in the last, I would say, 2 months come to me relating to deals not being able to go forward, or being impeded, or being in some ways affected by the realtors or the real estate professionals' real estate commission involved. One in particular comes to mind where there was a transaction where a listing agent was representing a seller. The property had been on the market for some time. The listing agent showed the property to another a couple. The couple made an offer on the property, and at the same time, the client, the seller, wanted to clarify and confirm what commission she would be paying in reference to the representation, because they were tight, and it was going to be a situation where the seller might even have to come to the closing with money, or certainly not make as much as they thought they were going to make.
Mm-hmm.
And the real estate agent said, "Well, you're going to pay me 6%, which is the standard, full commission rate." And the seller indicated, well, I believe that, with the money being as tight as it is here, that I want to see if you'd be willing to just take half of your commission, because if they would have come in represented by an agent, that's what you would have been entitled to, and certainly that's what I thought, I was going to have to pay you for representation. And they said, and the real estate agent responded that, well, no, I'm representing these folks as well. And no dual agency disclosure had ever been signed.
Oh.
And no notice had ever been given to the seller of this representation. And so the seller was in a situation where, basically the real estate agent was insisting on a 6% commission, or she was not going to, go forward with any additional, with any representation. And the seller was in a situation where she couldn't afford to pay the 6% commission without having to bring money to closing, money that they didn't have. Created a real situation, and a real situation, I think, for potentially the realtor for not having that dual agency disclosure signed, because, again, as you've always taught, when you're in a dual agency situation, your representation, the scope of your representation is more limited. You don't have some of the same fiduciary responsibilities that you would have if you were strictly a listing agent, solely and exclusively a listing agent, and not in a dual agency capacity. And you've always talked about how there's certain things that you can't do as a result of dual agency, and certainly in any multiple representation situation, your situation is going to be limited. Okay.
Yep.
Well, none of those notices, none of those issues had been, disclosed, and nothing had been signed off on by the seller, and it created a real problem. I think that there are a lot. And I've had 2 or 3 other situations come to me where essentially the real estate commission is becoming an impediment to the closing. And I think that it's important for everybody to understand, what the situation is going into a listing. The listing agreement, typically outlines what the commission is going to be, and that listing agreement, is between the seller and the listing agent. And I know you've had some dealings with this in the past, Frankie, either as an expert witness or obviously teaching this issue, and it creates an awful situation all the way around. Most real estate agents and most real estate companies have either the spoken and written rule or the unspoken and unwritten rule that they're never going to let a commission stand in the way of a deal being done, because ultimately that is the best interest of their client.
Well, and we got just under a minute left in this segment, but you brought up at least 2 license law violations. One is the license law says an agent may not cause any kind of a delay, postponement, or God forbid a cancellation over a dispute over commission.
Right.
So you got to let that closing go through, commission or not. And then the dual agency thing without a written agreement is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. And so they've come to me on that issue, and it's a real problem.
Andy, we got about 10 seconds. How can we?
I got you.
Apologize. How can we get in touch with you, brother?
Give me a call at 744-0824 if you have any questions, if I can help you in real estate or any other legal matter. And I appreciate it, Frank.
Excellent points. Hope you've had a great weekend. And just so our listeners will know, and I have gotten some questions in the past, but in Julie Brickley, my guest today, in her day-to-day job, she works hand-in-hand directly with HOAs, the homeowners associations and stuff like that. So if you have any questions about HOAs, give us a call. I'm sure Miss Julie can help us figure out the right answer. Again, 799-8255. Well, Julie, let's go straight to our phone lines where we've got Bernie on the line. How you doing, Bernie? Hello, Bernie.
Yes, sir. How are you today?
Oh, it's a fine day. How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm thoroughly enjoying your show. However, I was asked by my wife to call you. She would have called you herself. However, she's taking your first year sales course right now.
Awesome.
And she had mentioned to me that if we would call, there's a $50 discount on our final sales course that she'd be taking.
Yeah, that seems to be getting around, and we certainly will do that and be glad to. We'll give you or your wife a $50 discount on her next class. And Bernie, I thank you for calling in. Appreciate you listening to the show.
Thank you. And is there anything else I have to do, or?
Nope, we'll take care of it, and just tell her she can pick up that discount from Ashley. She's there at the school, and I'm sure she knows who Ashley is. But we'll take care of it for you.
Thank you very much. Keep up the good work.
All right,
Very
buddy.
informative.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Well, Julie, we had to give away a discount at the real estate school because I do a lot of teaching. We obviously own the Real Estate School for Success here in town, which you've attended, as a matter of fact, have you not?
That's right, I have.
What'd you think?
It's great. It's great. You keep it real entertaining. It's as you know, the subject can be a little mundane,
Dry.
Dry.
Yes.
Yeah. But you make it so that it's interesting and just keep it a little light, funny, and upbeat. So, but we were talking earlier about going through and getting your education and having the book knowledge, and all that's important. But when it really comes right down to it, you want to have a real estate agent that has the OJT, the sweat equity, what I like to call.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's what sets you apart from your competition.
Julie, I feel very special.
So do I get a $50 discount on my next?
$150 on Julie's. But no, I do appreciate you saying that. And before the last break and before Andy come on, and Andy does such a great job. And you made a comment that I don't know if many people really picked up on this, but it was during the government shutdown when you were getting ready to close. It was during that government shutdown, and you were using VA financing.
Right.
And our concern was if we waited till the day that we were actually supposed, which was actually the following day, the government was going to be shut down on that day. So there was a lot of question on whether or not we would be able to close because of the financing. Would it be VA and all? So we talked to Erica, the mortgage expert, along with Andy about trying to get it. Can we close a day early? And with very short notice, Andy just made it happen, and they were booked.
Yep. Well, you all made it happen, and that because you were on it. So that's why I called you the SWAT team. We weren't supposed to close, I think, for 2 or 3 days, and it was like, no, we're closing today. And Andy had to move several things. He said, no, we are going to close Miss Brickley's loan today.
And that's exactly what he does. And same thing with Erica West. And I don't know if you recall this or if I even told you about this, but when we made the offer on the house for you, obviously the offer has to indicate what type of financing, which was VA. And I think in fact, I remember that it was on the 10th of the month, because I've used this a number of times. We made the offer on the 10th of the month, and with the plans of closing that same month, at the end of the month. So we're looking at about 3 weeks' time. Well, that's almost unheard of, especially with VA financing. In fact, the listing agent called me about that and said, "Frank, this won't happen. There's no way you're going to close by the end of this month with VA finance." I don't know if you remember that.
I do, yep.
But Erica said, yes, it will. And if she tells me that, I believe it, and I know it. And not only did it close it closed earlier because of what we just talked about, but she made it happen.
She's dynamite. She's on it, and
she's absolutely incredible. And you know what? In probably, Brian, we got a couple minutes left or so, but 30 seconds. Well, maybe we won't talk about what I was going to talk about. But anyway, Julie, I can't thank you enough for giving up your time coming in here into the studio this morning to talk to us. And please tell Command Sergeant Major I said hello.
I will do it, and thank you for the opportunity to speak.